In Pit Lane, proudly brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing and custom software.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane, coming to you on Channel 31 and of course on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel and wherever fine good books are sold. Now, coming up on the program, we are heading for the big one. The Bathurst 1000 is just around the corner, and joining us on tonight's program will be a young man who's about to have his first start in the great race. Jaylyn Robotham has got a wildcard entry with Matt Chahda Racing for the big event, and he'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the program. Also, we've got some fantastic music coming up. Steve Lucas, local legend in Australian music, he'll be joining us for a couple of songs, or a song a little bit later on in the program. But right now, for also in harmony with me today is my co-host, of course, Craig Doc Gladigo. And Doc, a big weekend of football and a big weekend on the MotoGP front as well. And we're paying tribute to, as you can see, Jack Miller, Thriller Miller behind us there. So you'd be happy as a Ducati fan.
I'm jumping out of my skin, absolutely thrilled to bits, as they say. But as they say in the movies and the classics, ain't no time for misbehaving. We better get on with it.
Yes, we certainly will. It has been a big weekend in motorsport, as it often is on this situation. So let's find out what's been happening around Australia and around the world. This is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. If there was ever any doubt, Jack Miller once again proved he's still one of the world's top MotoGP riders with a win in last weekend's Japanese MotoGP at Motegi. Miller came from fourth on the grid to grab the lead on lap 2 and dominated from then on. It was a good weekend all up for the Australian after his 2023 teammate Brad Binder finished second, giving KTM hope of an improved 2023 season. Miguel Oliveira finished third. Miller will be hoping his improved form continues this weekend at the Thai Grand Prix before the circus rolls into Phillip Island in 3 weeks' time.
Shane Van Gisbergen has confirmed that he has had preliminary talks with Trackhouse boss Justin Marks about a possible NASCAR drive. Speaking to Channel 9's Wide World of Sports, Van Gisbergen said that the new Chicago street race would be an ideal venue for a one-off drive, which would be very dependent on clashes with the Supercars calendar, unfortunately. And Van Gisbergen may not be the only Supercars driver in the field, with Brody Kostecki openly seeking NASCAR opportunities for the future as well.
He also might not be the only Australian, because a guy called Daniel Ricciardo is also being sounded out as well. That might be interesting. Well, speaking of interesting, several new Victorian state champions were crowned after the weekend's racing at Phillip Island. A win in Sunday's feature race saw Matthew Hillier take out the 2022 Victorian Formula Ford Championship. Hillier entered the weekend 46 points clear of Jordan Sinney to extend his advantage with a pair of second-place finishes in the first 2 races, won by Kobe Williams and Edison Beswick. In the 1600 Kent class, it was a narrow win to Richard Davison, who wrapped up the title over defending champ Brendan Jones. A race 2 win for Reef McCarthy and a 4th place in the final was enough to give him the championship over Heath Collinson. Collinson won the final race in an absolute thriller, but McCarthy's 4th place was enough for him to take the title by a single point. A clean sweep to Sean Jamieson has seen him take out the saloon car title for this year. Jamison's Commodore won all 3 races to take the weekend from Daniel Johnston and Adam Lowndes. Ben Schutz once again dominated the sports car class in the Sin R1, winning both races comfortably to win that title, while James Westerway dominated the 944s to wrap up their championship for this year. Hugo Simpson won in Excels after 3 epic races, and the Monaro of Adam Poole won all 3 races in improved production. Tony Groves and Stuart Eustace in the Mark III Mazdas comfortably led home the sports sedans, with Alex Jory and Jesse Bryan sharing wins in the BMWs. Ryan Woods took out the overall weekend points in HQ Holden despite not winning a single race. Consistency rules. And a single win in race 2 was enough for Andrew Lane's Mustang to win in historic touring cars.
And it was another big weekend of motorsport across the globe. Let's take a look at some of it with the In-Pit Lane International Wrap.
A tough weekend for Aussie Christian Mansell in the Euro Formula Open Series at Monza. The Australian started the weekend with a strong third place in a wet opening race, but this rollover in race 2 after contact with Francesco Simonazzi ended Mansell's race. Remarkably, the car started from the rear of the grid in race 3, but retired early to leave Mansell back in third place in the championship with 1 round remaining in the season. A win in the European Le Mans Series by Spa specialists United Autosport. Duncan Tappy, Phil Hansen and Tom Gamble secured victory at the 4 Hours of Spa to win their 4th race at the circuit in the past 5 years. In GTE, the Kessel Racing Ferrari took the class win with Conrad Grunwald, Frederick Schandorf and Mikkel Jensen. The Inter-Europol competition lead of Charles Cruz, Nico Pina and Guillaume Oliveira took their 3rd win in a row, finishing over a minute ahead of the rest of the LMP3 field to take the lead of the championship with 1 round remaining. Antron Brown collected career win number 71 to score his record-tying 6th Top Fuel win at Z-Max Dragway, defeating teammate Justin Ashley in the final. In Funny Car, Ron Capps won his 2nd race in the last 3 events in the final against Alexis DeJoria, in a race in which both cars had engine problems before the finish line. And Aaron Stanfield drilled Matt Hartford at the tree to take the win in Pro Stock and close the championship points gap to Erica Endez. It was a wild weekend of changeable weather which caused plenty of havoc in the latest round of the DTM at the Red Bull Ring. New Zealand's Nick Cassidy won his 2nd ever DTM race with a dominant performance in a dry race on Saturday. But Sunday saw the heavens open and it was a storming drive from Porsche driver Thomas Preening, who charged from 7th on the grid to take his 2nd DTM victory. Sheldon van der Linde saw his championship lead shrink further by failing to score any points at all for the 2nd consecutive race. Tyler Reddick survived a wild race at Texas Motor Speedway to take the win. A record 14 caution periods were called after a day of chaos on track. The day's biggest crash saw Cody Ware make hard contact with the pit road wall. Thankfully there were no crew over the wall, or this could have been a lot more serious. Championship playoff frontrunner Chase Elliott also saw his race ending after contact and a fire. William Byron spun Denny Hamlin around late in the race in a move that caused Hamlin to blow a fuse. Reddick, however, managed to avoid all the drama and grabbed the lead late in the race to lead home Joey Logano, who now leads the playoffs, and Justin Haley.
And news that S5000 won't race at this year's Bathurst International after a decision by Motorsport Australia to restrict the category at Mount Panorama. The cars will, however, run exhibition laps and negotiations are currently underway for a replacement round, possibly at Phillip Island as part of Island Magic. You're watching In Pit Lane here on Channel 31 Melbourne, on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, and anywhere else that you may be happening to see us at the moment. We're going to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to be joined live in the studio by our special guest, Jaylyn Robotham, to talk about his drive at the Bathurst 1000 in a couple of weeks' time. This is In Pit Lane. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
A huge thank you to our friend Roy at Online Invent for the support that we get for In Pit Lane. The program, as we said before, would not go ahead without the support. There's all these people around there. They've got to be fed. There's all sorts of costs involved in getting this program to air, believe it or not. And thanks to the support of people like of Roy and also everyone at Online Invent, we're able to come back here for another season of In Pit Lane. So if you're looking for website design, for SEO, for anything in terms of online marketing, contact Online Invent and they'll do it properly because, boy, it's a complicated thing. I've got to tell you.
Tell you what, everyone needs a friend like Roy at Online Invent because every couple of days he's sending us tips. We've got a direct line to him, fortunately, and he helps us out quite regularly with the show, not just us, but in technology in general in life.
I think the thing is, if you don't know sort of social media and you think, oh, it's just a matter of putting up a few tweets and popping some stuff up on Facebook every now and again, to do it properly, it's far more complicated than that. And Roy has done stuff beyond. And
you had almost 1,000 likes to chase up in the last week, and you were just sitting on them.
We did. It was like Roy said, "Oh, you might want to check out the likes to sort of invite people." And I went there. There were 750 from one ad and about 400 from another. And I'm sitting there invite.
All these people are just sitting at home waiting for you to respond to them, Brett. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for all the support from everyone anyway. And we know you like it, but we've got everyday jobs too.
Well, he's got everyday jobs, and I've got everyday unemployment. So there you go. So now, if you want to, if you also want to catch up with what's happening, we'll give it a plug later on. But remember, Full Course Yellow here on the Facebook page. After In Pit Lane goes to air on Channel 31 every Thursday night at 10 o'clock after we go to air on Channel 31.
Fancy dress every Thursday night.
Yeah, fancy dress. It's a bit of just a get-together of us just having
low
a bit
key,
of a very low key.
And we invite everyone, please respond.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of regular guys that chip in throughout the night and bring up topics and subjects.
Yeah,
and sometimes some info we haven't heard of too, or some rumours.
They are the producers, the people they're the ones who drive the program. So if you want to get involved, you want to have a chat with us about any topic motorsport related, Full Course Yellow, Thursday nights at 10 o'clock. Okay, are we ready to go? And Anthony, where are we? We're ready to go, are we? Let's find out. We're just waiting for instructions from race control.
I was going to say, they're way, way high up. Very, very, those instructions.
Okay, we're just waiting on a couple of things on camera, and then we'll be back with our interview with Jay.
Some big events coming up the next couple of weeks. We might be involved with, Brett.
Very, very busy coming up. Motor Classica is back again. We'll be out there once again.
Carlton, my favourite home.
Well, we do have a request for Andrew Westacott. Andrew joined us for many years on the program from the Australian Grand Prix Corporation. Unfortunately, they're a bit hard to get hold of at the moment. So
always busy.
Very busy. Well, apparently so, but we'll find out. But we do have invitations for Andrew to come in and talk about MotoGP and also the Australian Formula One Grand Prix and what's being planned already for next year as well. We've also got coming up Sandown Historic.
Yes,
is just around the corner as well. So we'll have somebody
always
talking about that. Yeah, great stuff, and working up towards Island Magic at the end of the year, which of course is the the end of year party, as we say. School is for petrol heads.
Just a huge recommendation. Everyone's talking about get down to Sandown, get those historics under your belt, because you know what, it's coming up to some really good time of year. Daylight savings, I think this weekend kicks in, so it's going to have a lot more daylight. Get down there while Sandown's still going, and show your patronage. You're going to see some great old school stuff.
That's it. So were we ready to go?
Have they worked out all the gremlins?
Have they got all the gremlins?
They've been running around the studio in the control room and chasing all those gremlins down.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Don't pour water over them either. It's a bad idea. They say multiply like
rabbits.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Meatloaf. By the way, good run by Robbie Williams on the weekend. He got a good round of applause. That was
speaking of which.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Robbie Williams, I was going to say, I don't know if she's watching right now, but congratulations, Gina Michael, part of the In Pit Lane family. Gina, a crew member on the program for a long time, and a member here at RMITV, who was one of the featured dancers behind Robbie Williams. She was there.
I just saw some gold figures flipping around in place, and they were doing a good job.
Of them.
Oh, there you go.
She was one of the very
multi-talented, not just
multi-talented on both sides of the camera. So
I don't want one of those pink suits he was wearing, but he did look good in it.
I actually like the pink suit. I wouldn't. Delta
wear
the pink suit.
Delta and Robbie looked good together. Actually, they were doing.
They make a lovely couple.
They did.
Delta makes a lovely couple just by herself.
She's kept that quiet for many years now.
Okay, let's. Are we ready? Are we ready in the control room?
Have they caged the gremlins?
For segment 2.
Silences, Stephanie.
We have silence. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, of course, coming up in a couple of weeks' time, it is the Bathurst 1000, the big one for the year. And our guest tonight is going to Bathurst. Not his first time at the mountain, but his first time at the big dance. He's got a wildcard entry along with Matt Chahda Racing to race in the big event. As a result, as we told you last week on the program, Riff McCarthy, who we were talking about in the news, is going to drive his car in Super 2. But right now, getting ready for the big event and very excited about it, our special guest tonight, Jaylyn Robotham. Jayle, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, well, it was a while ago. I mean, we were talking about trying to figure out, and you were racing Excels back then, and you're one of these people who, these young people who started with, I suppose, karts and Excels, and then has moved through to through Super 2, and now the big drive at Bathurst. How did this all happen?
It's been in the pipelines a little bit, so a lot of it we're just waiting to see if my super license will get approved, and as soon as that did, that same day we sort of announced it. So it's pretty surreal. It's all next weekend, so it's all coming up really quick.
So you're heading up there, so you're going up on Sunday and getting ready, getting set in for the weekend. Now, you've done some testing already in the new car. What's the difference, if any, between the car you've been driving in Super 2 and the car you'll be driving in the big one?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Just the braking's a little bit easier. You can have a bit more trust in the car, just with the more aero. But yeah, everything is pretty similar. It's pretty surprising, but they're both good cars to drive.
I heard some feedback that, like initially the ergonomics of the thing, and I've heard this from a few drivers that, they were a bit numb in some places, and even some of them, if you look back at, the physical struggle of racing the Bathurst 1000. I mean, we saw years ago, someone as fit and as experienced as Dave Reynolds having all sorts of problems. I mean, how are you training for something like that?
Yeah, on the first test day, me and Matt both experienced a little bit of numbing in our feet, so we sort of changed the whole seat of the car. We sit a lot higher up, so we've got to try find like a sweet spot in between both of us. A lot of it's, just doing a lot of physical training.
Are either of you using an insert?
No, none of us use an insert. We managed to find a sweet spot for both of us. It's hard, obviously, trying to get one driver comfortable, but trying to get two is an even bigger challenge. So we spent most of the test days trying to do that. And then, we had a couple of days besides the test days making sure the seat was right for both of us. My PT's up in Queensland, Josh Webb, so he's been sending me a program to do. I went up there a couple of weekends ago just to, get sharp, and it's all going well.
You've got a very extensive CV for your age. I won't tell you. You're still a teenager, but you're 11, you're in karts. 14, you were driving an Excel. 14 in 1 week, mind you, at Phillip Island. Yeah. Inaugural, when you were driving the Toyota 86s, you won a race as well there too, very, very early in the piece. Do you sometimes pinch yourself a little bit and think, geez, it's gone so quickly? That's only just the start of the CV. We'll get onto the TA2s and the 2020 Super 3s in a minute. But, do you have to pinch yourself or reset yourself sometimes and think, oh, look, this is a new category, I've got to start from scratch here? Yeah,
for sure. Obviously, early on racing 86s and Excels had a lot of success. So Super 3 was good. That's when COVID happened. So
you won 4 from 4 races in those Super 3, though. 4 races, year. 4 wins. Who goes out there and smashes every single race? Did you put a banana in the tailpipe of every other car or something?
No, it was a good year. So we weren't sure if we were going to race, so we sort of just bit the bullet and took a chance, and it worked out well. So Super 2 to Super 3 is a big jump.
Right.
So the first year was a lot of learning. It sort of humbled me a little bit. It is a big step. So first year was just trying to get comfortable in the series, and then this year we've been pretty quick. So it is gone pretty quick. 5 years ago I was racing Excels. Never thought I'd be racing any supercar. So to be racing the main race is pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You've also got a tie-in with Erebus, with the Erebus Academy. Tell us, what is the Erebus Academy, and what is the tie-in? What do they do with you and the team?
Yeah, so they're really supportive. They've got an alignment with Image Racing, so we use their engineers. They sort of do the back pedal of the car, and they do the engineering side, and then they help us out with some Facebook stuff and all that. So they've been good, very supportive. So it's a good team to be around with Image. So Terry and Dana are awesome, and it's a good environment to be around.
And they're sort of the little team that could, aren't they? I mean, they've been around for ages. Back in the Thunderdome days. I mean, Terry was a champion out at the Calder Park Thunderdome as a driver, but also now as a team owner as well. How important is it to have those sorts of teams around? I mean, you look at the main game. I mean, all the teams, we've got internationals with Penske. Well, we had Penske, but now we've got United Autosport with Andretti United and Tickford and all of those sort of international groups involved. How important is it to try and maintain those smaller teams like the Brad Jones Racing and Image Racing and those sorts of teams?
Yeah, it's you know, you need a pathway to get to main games, so yeah, it's good having the bigger teams sort of align themselves with the smaller teams. Yeah, it's good for the sport. You know, hopefully in the future more teams can, you know, sort of support smaller teams, and you know, next year Super 2, I think a lot more of the main game teams are going to run cars. So yeah, it's good to see, and hopefully, you know, it just grows.
Brett just touched on a little bit before about looking after yourself in preparation and what you can do for Bathurst, but you've also raced TA2s, Toyota 86s, you've been overseas to New Zealand and over to Malaysia, etc. like that. What have you learnt there that you can bring back to here in preparation for something that you're stepping up to the next game in your life? I mean, you must have had to draw some stuff from it.
Yeah, the TA2 series was good. Every race was a 1 hour enduro with a co-driver, so, you know, getting the pit stop practice in. Over there, it was sort of like with the FIA standards, if you're a gold medal or a silver medal, dependent on pit stop time. So, yeah, you don't have to rush to do a pit stop, but, you know, doing a driver change, you know, you try to do it as quick as you can. And the heat over there was just, it was humid and hot, and, you know, doing that long stints was pretty hard. So, yeah, taking back from that to here, you know, trying to get the driver changes nailed, that's where all the time is on the pit stops. So, yeah. And just the heat, you know, it was hot over there, and, you know, we're going to experience that in the race, being in the car for so long. So, yeah, take a bit of everything from the way, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll find out more about your plans beyond Bathurst, you know, coming up. I mean, you know, this is obviously a really big thing for you at the moment, but stay with us. We're going to take a break here on In Pit Lane, and when we come back, we'll have more from Jaylyn Robotham. We'll also be joined by our special musical guest, Steve Lucas. You're watching In Pit Lane. Channel 31 Melbourne will be back right after this. Okay, let's get Steve into position, and
bonus time.
we will have some music for you in just a moment here on In Pit Lane. Our bonus track from Steve, and we'll be telling you where you can see him in just a moment. As Steve wanders in and gets into position, we'll let you know that he's going to be at the. There's his Bandcamp details. If you want to catch up on Steve's music, you can catch up with him on Bandcamp, and he's also at the Dogs Bar. It's at Kilburn this Friday.
Now I asked you at the back, and we didn't able to source that. We've got to ask Steve while he's just setting up the Dogs. Where's the Dogs place?
St Kilda.
St Kilda. There we go.
Ackland Street, yeah, Luna Park.
Oh, there you go. Jeez, that's a beautiful time of year to be there, Steve.
It's always good to be there.
Oh.
It is also always good.
Boom, boom.
Hey, let's face it, at our age, it's always good to be anywhere.
Well, this is true. It's good to be here.
That's right.
Well, that's
Thank you,
well,
Steve.
we'll soon see about that.
So
yeah, Steve is joining us. Steve has been with us before on the program. If you don't know Steve's incredible history in the local music scene, look it up on Wikipedia, because it would take half an hour to tell you about the famous sort of music and bands and that this man has been involved with. But right now he's going to give us a bonus song here on In Pit Lane, and we'll give you more details about Steve later. But right now, here's Steve Lucas and his song. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Our guest tonight is Jaylyn Robotham, who's about to head up to Bathurst for the Bathurst 1000. Son jackets now, and Jaylyn, let's talk about the plans beyond. I mean, obviously this is a big break for both you and Matt in terms of so what are the plans initially for Bathurst? I mean, what's success for you guys?
Just to finish, that's obviously the first goal, and then anything, if we can beat a couple cars, that's a win. So. Yeah, we're both, just wanting to finish. It's a big weekend, got a lot of practice sessions. There's a lot that can go wrong. So, yeah, just trying to finish. That's sort of the main thing, and see how we go.
You should have a bit of room out. There's 25 cars and only 4 wild cards. So watch out. There are a few more guys that are just starting out. A guy called Lowndes, might be his first trip around.
Yeah,
the
watch
track.
out for him. He's got a nasty reputation.
He has a very young fellow.
The kid they call him.
A whippersnapper.
Yeah, whippersnapper.
Yeah, he's from Whittlesea as well too. So he's a local boy like us from out the road there, just north of Melbourne. Speaking though of your inexperience, though, and that's nothing against you because you've got a great resume leading up to, of course. But you've got someone who's extremely professional, has been around the traps a long time, and you'd be rapt to have him as Wally Stories. Obviously you're engineer for the weekend. You've already done some testing with him.
Yeah. So we got a lot of experience in the team. Wally's awesome. The whole team's sort of gelling really well. So it's a good environment to be around. A few people come in and say, it's a good good environment to see. So, just Bathurst, we've just got to keep it together and, see how we go.
So what are the long-term plans? I mean, beyond this year, I mean, you sorted out what your plan is for next year, or has that not been sorted yet?
Not yet. We're sort of just going to wait to see how we go after Bathurst. Obviously, I want to keep racing. Super 2 or over the wildcard or then co-drive. That's sort of the goal. Obviously, main game is my main goal I want to do. But yeah, there's not too many seats available for next year.
With that in mind, I mean, you mentioned about racing overseas. Like when we've seen the growth of Asian motorsport in things like, in Thailand, huge scene breaking out in Thailand at the moment. You've been to Malaysia and those sorts of things. Is that something you're looking at for categories like GT racing and that sort of category?
Yeah, obviously, we since COVID, we've sort of just tried, getting in the supercars. But yeah, obviously, I've raced overseas. We've got a few connections over there, so. If it doesn't work out, it's always a good thing to fall back on. You can go overseas and race. It's a cool atmosphere over there, and they all love racing. So, yeah, it's a good backup plan.
When you say cool atmosphere, you're not talking about the weather, though.
No, not weather.
We're renowned here in Pit Lane for our smashing, hard-hitting brick wall questions here.
Oh, here it comes.
I was going to say you've got to
let yourself in.
Let yourself in. Yeah, this could hurt. What is the professional dog tasting thing that's on your Facebook page? You've got to let us in there. Is it a joke with the fellas, is it? You've got to tell us.
Oh, I don't know. I've just had it for ages. So
okay. So it's just a bit of tongue-in-cheek, bit of fun.
Yeah, so I work full-time at Melbourne City Toyota, so that's my job.
What a feeling.
Yeah, that's it. So,
exactly. And Dad's out at Lansford as well, too. I was hoping it had nothing to do with the pies as well, though, too, with the dog tasting stuff, I was going to say, because he's got some good accolades out there for the pies he makes as well.
Yeah, my parents work hard, so they've owned that for 11 years now.
Yeah, give them a plug, Lansfield Bakery.
Lansfield Bakery, so if you're up that way,
Yeah, if you're heading up that way, up to Winton or heading up to Heathcote Park or something like that, call in and get yourself a pie or two.
Mention Jay, and you might get.
Yeah, mention in Pit Lane, and they'll throw you out roughly.
No security needed.
Okay, well, good luck with both coming up at Bathurst and, of course, for the future. Hopefully it won't be 5 years before we see you again. If it is, I mean, I'll probably be dead and gone by then, so you'll be talking to Doc then. But anyway, good luck with it for the weekend.
Smash them like the Cats did the Swans on the weekend.
Yeah, we'll be watching. And if by some miracle you do anything, whether it's give us a plug or something, and because you are now officially in Pit Lane's own Jaylyn Robotham. Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Thank you again. Cheers.
And thank you to you for joining us at home. Now, to take us out tonight, a local legend of the music scene, and that is Steve Lucas. Steve's been on the program before, and if you'd like to see Steve live in concert this weekend, in fact, tomorrow night, if you're watching on Channel 31, Friday, the 30th of September, he's going to be at the Dogs Bar in Ackland Street, St Kilda. About what time, Steve?
8 till 11.
About 8 till 11. So yeah, perfect timing. So you can kick off the night with Steve Lucas at the Dogs Bar. That's coming up, and he's going to play us out in just a moment with one of his songs. But also,
Brett, you're on fire behind you.
I'm on fire. Well, Jack was on fire, and there he is celebrating. Now, coming up next week on the program, we will have a preview of Bathurst, of course. And coming up in the next couple of weeks, we'll also have a preview of the big MotoGP down at Phillip Island. Remember to watch Full Course Yellow this Thursday night at 10 o'clock, straight after In Pit Lane on Channel 31 on the In Pit Lane Facebook page and In Pit Lane on YouTube. But right now, let's check out our music for tonight. To play us out, this is Steve Lucas and Coming My Way. Good night.
My baby loves me, makes me glad all over. Baby loves me, makes me glad all over, yeah. Baby, right on the line, wanna be a lover. She's up for me, I don't need no other. Biding my time in the usual way. And everything seems to be coming my way. Yeah, I get a lump in my throat when I tell her I love her, yeah. Sometimes it gets so hard just thinking about all for me, I don't need no other. Biding my time in the usual way. And everything seems to be coming my way. She got a hurricane love like riding a twister. She's so hot my fingers are blistered. Knew all along I could never resist her. She's got what it takes, make no mistake. Standing beside her I can feel the earth shaking, yeah. Well, my baby loves me, makes me glad all over, yeah. My baby loves me, makes me glad all over, yeah. Later on the line, wanna be a lover. She's all for me, I don't need no other. Biding my time in the usual way. And everything seems to be coming my way. Everything seems to be coming my way, yeah. Everything seems to be coming my way, yeah. Well, everything seems to be coming my way.
You'd be mine. Steve Lucas.
Thank you. Well, if I could grow the grapes and I would press and squeeze the wine, and maybe I'd intoxicate you, maybe you'd be mine. You'd drink that cup of love and you'd be mine. If I could build a house, you know I'd make that house a home, and maybe you would live with me, I wouldn't be alone. We'd fill that house with love and call it home. Think of all I'd like to say to you, you know I want to stay with you, girl. Think of all I'd like to give to you, you know I want to live with you, girl. If I could find the words, if I could find the voice to touch your heart, well, maybe I would reach inside you, and that would be a start. If I could find the words to touch your heart, think of all I'd like to say to you, you know I want to stay with you, girl. Think of all I'd like to give to you, you know I want to live with you, girl. Well, if I could find a way to break the shackles on your mind, well, maybe I would liberate you. Maybe then you'd find you'd never know a love as free as mine. If I could find a way release you from the past, well, maybe you could lay beside me, believing it would last. If I could find a way to free you from the past, if I could only free you from the past,